when he's got some good attributes. What do you think? Let me know at Twitter, Real Alex Jones.
In Texas, Alex Jones.
The globalists buying 1,400,000,000 rounds plus of ammo the last 11 months, 1 billion plus of it this year alone, the last 7-8 months, is a sign of their abject panic and fear. It's a sign of the tyrants wanting to mass their weapons against us. But more and more, the way this ammo is being bought and all the different... Man, I tell you, they had Joe Biden come out and say that Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney want to put chains on the black people, basically. And it just shows the incredible racial division that the left always engages in. Not because they care about people coming together racially, because they want to keep people on that hate plantation. And it must work, because, 95% of folks voted, who were black, ended up voting for Obama. And again, I wouldn't vote for somebody on their race. I would vote for someone on what they stood for. But now the Romney campaign has come out and said, quote, take your campaign of division and anger and hate back to Chicago. And I tell you, Obama coming out and saying, if you have a business, you didn't build that, you didn't do that, somebody else did that, that's a quote. That's what I would say if I wanted to lose. But it also shows, we got government-run health care now. I mean, they're doing what they want. They want to get us accustomed to this so they can take over businesses like Hugo Chavez does down in Venezuela. Just amazing to say they're going to put y'all back in chains. We've got the clip. We're going to play it a little bit later in the broadcast. Now, we are joined for the next 45 minutes or so by, well, author, businessman. He's been very, very successful in business, John Rocker. And, of course, you also know him as being a top national baseball, Major League Baseball relief pitcher who played for a bunch of major teams like Atlanta Braves, Cleveland Indians, Texas Rangers, you name it. And he's known for all the big controversies with statements he made, taken out of context, twisted. Because I've seen a lot of other controversial statements, even more controversial, that don't seem to catch on. So we'll ask him today why he thinks that happened. But we don't have John Rocker here because of all that. We have him so you can actually hear him soundbite free in a long-form interview, because I like reading his writings over at WorldNetDaily.com, WMD.com, and that's why he joins us today. And we'll also get into his book, Rocker, Scars and Strikes. And he joins us right now. Good to have you on with us, John.
Thank you for having me on, Alex. I certainly appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we appreciate having you. Well, I mean, tell us who you really are, because I know that's kind of what you do with WorldNetDaily, where you really stand, and because I know how the media works. Once they take something and run with it, they once said that I said kill Michelle Malkin, even though I didn't. People with her yelled that, and then I still am blamed with saying that. And then once it's not in the national news, and the truth is there, or there's even a retraction in the newspaper, nobody reads it.
You're absolutely right. And hey, Alex, I'm going to be a pain in the backside here for a second. I'm getting a lot of feedback on my end. Can we hang up and start over?
Absolutely. You called into our system. Do you want us to call you?
How about you guys just return the call? I'm just getting a lot. I'm hearing every word that I'm saying in my right ear here. It's going to be very distracting through a long call.
Sure. Maybe we can turn our audio to him down, guys. John, how's that sound?
Let me think. Yeah, okay. I'm not hearing the feed. No, I'm still hearing it, Alex.
All right. Well, we'll call you right back, or you call us back. Hey, this is a great way to build up an interview.
Exactly. All right, call me back, man.
All right, we'll call you right back. We'll see how that goes. Is that on our phone lines? They work fine. He does sound dynamite. Did he call into a digital line, a high-def phone line? That's probably what it is. Which is great. You know, we try to give you high-def phone lines here in talk radio, and most talk radio national shows don't even do that. We use high-def connections when the person has them, but sometimes there's problems, and we use Skype, audio Skype, when they don't want to do video because the quality is better. I don't know why. I go on a lot of great national shows, and they don't ever do that. I'm like, hey, we have digital phone lines. Hey, we have audio Skype. Hey, we have, nope, regular phone line. And maybe they're right to not do that, because sometimes you do have the problems, especially when somebody calls in once the show is already in motion. So I hope to get him on the show, because I was up at WorldNetDaily headquarters and they were telling me he was a listener. So I look forward to getting his take on the DHS and TSA was what he wanted to talk about here on the broadcast today. Spike Lee says Obama will do whatever he wants in second term. New Black Panthers to RNC. Our feet will be on your mother effing necks. Talk about being FBI funded. In Harvard essay, young Michelle Obama argued for race-based faculty hiring. Top Homeland Security official to leave after lewd conduct charges. One of Big Sis's special friends. So, special friends in that she reportedly was promoted without having any of the job requirements she needed. All you got to be is an anti-American jackboot, though, I thought, and have the TSA abuse everybody. Hey, John.
I'm back, Alex. We'll try this again.
How's it sound?
Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, no, it's fine. How's it sound now?
It sounds much better. I don't know, these landlines, you never know quite what's going on with them.
That's okay. Hey, listen, good to have you here. Wow, where should we start? Tell us about what you've done out of baseball. I know you're very successful in business.
I guess very successful is always, I guess, in the eye of the beholder. Always kind of a relative statement. I got into real estate, really back probably in the late '90s when I first started playing. I did a lot of successful deals. So just kind of, I guess sort of a silent investor, shopping centers, multifamily deals, a few single-family attached deals. Was fortunate enough, I guess, to kind of surround myself with some very influential people, some very knowledgeable people, some very experienced people. Obviously, 20, 30, sometimes 40 years my senior, that really gave me kind of a hard, fast, real-world education on real estate. I did my first real estate deal by myself, my first solo deal, actually, while I was still playing, a little 70-lot deal up north of Atlanta. Did that, completed that back in 2004, begun it in 2002 when I was still with the Texas Rangers. I bought the dirt and we started designing and developing and things like that. Deal could have gone a little better. Didn't quite fall foul in space, but it was really kind of hitting its stride when the market was kind of downsliding. Had to cut prices a decent bit. Dalton, Georgia, which is a little bit north of Atlanta, where Mohawk is, and Shaw has got about 20% unemployment now. So you can imagine how that affects real estate. But probably into that, started doing some bigger deals, single-family attached deals, multifamily deals. And, in that 2, 3, 4 year period of time from, say, 06 to 010, it was an absolute fist fight. You were basically just playing for the tie, working 12 hours a day kind of stuff. But, you were already pregnant. There was no choice but to have the kids. So, fought for those deals, got them done, got them built. The multifamily has done real well. The for sale product's not done so well. It's like I said, kind of basically playing for the tie. You're not really making a whole lot of money. If you just get out able to show on your back, you're happy.
Well, I had just read that you've been pretty successful in real estate. Why?
Yeah, and done well. I mean, I can't say that it's been all roses, but it certainly hasn't been all bad either. It's been in this market, if you're making any money, I would say you are very successful. You're right. Sure.
Tell us about the book. I've read it. It's very interesting. And then the columns you're writing for WorldNetDaily.
The book, it was just something that, a lot of stuff I just kind of needed to get off my chest. Obviously, with what you talked about before we broke for a brief period of time a few minutes ago, just the gross misperception that media has, continued to hammer home for, better than a decade now, actually more than a decade now. Just kind of gotten tired of it. And, the old cliche, and I actually use this cliche in my book. The old cliche is don't ever fist fight or pick a fight with a guy who buys ink by the truckload. To write this book, I planned decided to buy my own truck and write my own book. I didn't have a ghostwriter on this book. I didn't had a very brief, partial, extremely small amount partial collaboration with a gentleman by the name of J. Marshall Craig. Wrote a couple books for Chuck Leavell, the Rolling Stones, Eric Burton of the Animals. He's basically an entertainment type writer and writes about and collaborates with a lot of those type people. He did a nice little intro for me, helped me out with a lot of research. But as far as sitting down and pounding on those computer keys, day in and day out for about 14, 16 months. That was all me. So, but just a lot of stuff to get off my chest, a lot of, quote, records to clear, and just, kind of make my peace with God sort of thing. And no matter how many interviews I've done, print, TV, radio, just literally well into the hundreds, possibly in the thousands over the years, where conversations have gone just like this. The songs still remain the same. I was just, kind of like what you were saying earlier, once a perception is out there, once the ideology, especially about someone, a specific person is out there in the media, it's very tough to change. And the sexy story about John Rocker, the one that drives ratings and sells magazines and newspapers, is John Rocker, the hateful, bigoted racist from the South. Man, that's the one that you splash that caption, that headline on top of a newspaper article. You're selling USA Today, that you're selling New York Times. The truth about John Rocker is not very sexy. It's not going to generate ratings. It's not going to, sell magazines and newspapers and drive that dollar to the bottom line, which is what, journalism and media. It's kind of like anything else. It survives and thrives off capitalism, off making money. The more papers you can sell, the more magazines you can sell.
Sure, and off of controversy. But I mean, a lot of your statements were really taken out of context and weren't even that big of a deal. Why do you think they chose you to keep hyping things up?
I don't know. I think I was good for ratings. I was good for PR. And obviously when you pick a fight with possibly the news capital of the world, there's a lot of eyes and ears listening and looking, and a lot of fingers to type and write those articles.
Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, you criticized New York, and from some of the quotes, it said people were like slobs on the train, and I guess some of the trains, you do see some slobs on them, and yeah, that's the thing. New York does not like being criticized, and so I think it was the archetype of, we're going to get that Southern boy now.
But was I racist because of it? And there's one quote that's flown around about, we'd be supposedly hating foreigners. One thing I love to talk, and this is why
Well, stay there. Let's come back. Stay there. We got to go to break. John Rocker's our guest. We're going to get into your view on what's happening right now with the TSA as well. Rocker, Scars and Strikes. Book's done very, very well. Here's the headline in the Huffington Post. John Rocker's new book, Scars and Strikes, aims to fix the former pitcher's public image. He's also writing for WorldNetDaily.com. He gets criticized because he says, hey, speak English. The illegals are running around putting Mexican flags on top of American flags or pulling them down and telling us we should speak only Spanish. In San Francisco, it was in MSNBC a few years ago, that the Hispanic kids can't wear American flags to school. They're told that's racist. So this has gotten so crazy now that if you're for our sovereignty, you're bad. And we'll cover that with him. I totally agree with him on that front, and he shouldn't be criticized for that, but it shows this out-of-control political correctness, how serious it's gotten. But you were wanting to make your point about immigrants as we went to break. That's why I raised that, John.
We will, and like I said, we'll get into a little deeper with my whole Speak English campaign and kind of the nuances around that a little bit later. But in the one quote that I've been vilified for, low these 12, 13 years, was simply talking, immigration policy, benefits, detriments, illegal immigrants, things like that. And probably went on about a 20 or 30-minute conversation. But I love talking politics. I love writing this weekly column for WorldNetDaily. They just give me carte blanche to write about kind of whatever. And a lot of the things I write about have political and social undertones and that kind of stuff. And I certainly enjoy doing that. It's one of my passions. But when you have a 30-minute conversation, like I said, about immigration policy, benefits, detriments, illegal immigration, how it's negative and possibly positive, for our society and for our culture. And the writer and Mr. Perlman has got a long, rich history of defaming and degrading pretty much every single subject he writes about, every individual he interviews or chooses to point a dirty end of his pen at, pretty much has done to them exactly what he did to me. And it is my firm belief that I've done so many of these print interviews over the years. And actually, after probably about 2006, 2007, I swore off print because so many times it's my belief when you sit down with a print journalist, you're basically inconsequential. They know before they sit down with you what type